Hey Clashers, rating every single mini in the game from the best to the worst, from the worst to the best, including all our 4 new minis as well. And obviously minis which got a huge buff like the Battle Healer or the Monk. We're going to rate all of them because I grinded this update now quite a bit. We were on rank 5, rank 4, something like that over the last couple of days. So I think I have a really good picture of what exactly is the strongest and the weakest mini. So let's get started. We are starting things off with the hero rankings. So first of all, the worst hero right now in the game, actually after being the best hero for quite some time, is the Queen. The Queen had a pretty hard nerf and a lot of things are countering her at the moment. So the Queen sadly, unfortunately, is right now the worst hero. Really close actually as a surprise, followed by the King. A lot of minis which really were key for the King got nerfed, like the Archer or Barbarian. So the King is not as much king anymore as he was in the last update. The next hero on our list is going to be the Shield Maiden. I think the Shield Maiden and the contest are really close, to be honest. I think depending on the matchups, depending on the level and everything, they can be like switched, but overall I think they are in B tier in a really good spot, and overall that's where they are. So let's move on to the next hero, which is actually going to be the Monk. The Monk had an incredible buff. The Monk had a really huge buff with being able to one-shot anything on level 10, which is giving him a huge advantage against heroes like Shield Maiden, Wave Master and so on, which are just there to tank. But getting one shot is like really hard to tank, to be honest. So the Monk is being in this number 3 position because he is really having a lot of problems against the Queen and against the Royal Champion. Royal Champion, we're going to get to that problem in just a bit. Next one is going to be the Wave Master. The Wave Master is, in my opinion, the perfect hero because he's really strong if you don't know what you're doing, but at the same time, if you know how to set up ranged mini, you can make sure that you are deciding where the Wave Master is going next as an opponent. So this means you have a lot of influence fighting versus the Wave Master, which I feel like is the perfect design, right? There is really strong, but there's just so much counterplay. As I said, he has pretty much no chance against the Monk. But there's one hero which is just beyond broken, which is just incredibly strong, especially on maps like the clone map. The Royal Champion is the king. The Royal Champion is just insane right now. Broken is probably not even a word which is describing the champion right now. And yeah, like as soon as you're picking level 10 Royal Champion, you are going to win. Even on level 5 and so on, the Royal Champion is pretty decent. So I think she deserves for sure our highest hero pick in this meta. But now talking all about the heroes, I think we should switch to the minis. We are going again from the worst mini to the best. So from the worst to the best, and we're starting with the D tier. Overall, I will show you every single tier level on its own, and then we're going to have the bigger picture at the end of the video. So let's start things off with the new mini, the Swordsman. And oh my goodness, this mini is really not good. It's really hard for the mini to stack up the energy to get even the super off, just 2 little hit points, and overall not a good mini. Next one is actually the Battle Healer. The Battle Healer is not really fitting into the meta right now too much because of 4 elixir. We're going to come to that a bit later. But with the anti-heal of the Wizard as well, she can be completely useless. And the next mini might be a surprise. It's going to be the Witch. Which I have so many comments. I had so many comments, people saying like, oh my goodness, she's going to need an emergency nerf when I had the sneak peek. And guys, please, I mean, you have to wait until the actual gameplay is coming out because everyone would have known or would have seen that the Witch is so weak against so many good minis at the moment. The Valkyrie, the Royal Champion, overall Splash Mini, Wave Master and so on. So the Witch is in a really bad spot at the moment, and everyone using that mini is putting themselves into a huge disadvantage. But that was already all of those D tier minis, so let's move on to the C tier. C tier, we have the Spear Goblin. Spear Goblin right now still really really predict heavy, and if you're missing your spear, he's not really that great. So overall, not the greatest mini. Next one is the Miner. That might be a big surprise because he got actually a pretty decent buff, I would say, especially in the early stages. But the problem is, the last meta was we had really heavy, big frontline tanks, and then the Miner could, while the backline is distracted, take them out. But at the moment, that's not the case. At the moment, the stronger frontline minis are minis which do not have that many hit points. It's more like about their abilities. So you do not have one tank which is tanking for an eternity. You have one mini like the Giant Skeleton, which has the purpose of getting taken down so they can deal the damage. But then again, all of those backline minis are going to turn around and going to shoot at this miner, which then again has no chance whatsoever. So this is why the miner is really not good at the moment. Next one, Magic Archer. Oh my, it's such a cool mini, but with the Fisher, it's not really usable. You have to put resources into it, and with the Fisher being around, the Fisherman, it's just way too risky. Next mini being the Musketeer. The Musketeer is pretty okay, I would say. It's like a 3 elixir filler mini, which means you can fit it into some decks because just the 3-star elixir, the 3 elixir is just so strong in general. But other than that, not really that good. The next two mini are going to be the Barbarian and Archer. We're going to talk about both at the same time because both of those mini were used by the Barbarian King. And the Barbarian King, as I already said, is not as strong anymore. So you can see already that's a big problem for those two mini. And they got a nerf as well. So that's why they're in the C tier. Next one is the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight is a huge, beefy frontline, which can stun as well. Which is actually bad at the moment because then the Golden Giant is just going to heal non-stop. And if you do not have an anti-heal, you're going to have a big problem, trust me. Next one is the P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is still a beefy tank as well, but the same thing. At the moment, we have other tanks which are just overshining those two, so they are just better. Overall, that was our C tier. Let's move on to the B tier. B tier is starting things off with the Prince. The Prince got a huge nerf, let's face it. The Prince got an incredible big nerf. When hitting nothing, it's going to get stunned for 3 seconds. That's just insane. So the Prince... it just shows how strong this Prince was before the update with still being in the B tier with this big of a nerf. Next one is the Ranged Healer. The Ranged Healer again, which is, I guess, the best thing for the mini is that it's 3 elixir. Because 3 elixir decks are just so strong right now that it's just fitting into a lot of different decks. So especially with like your Royal Champion, it can work really well. Overall, it's pretty decent mini, I would say. Next one is the Electro Wizard. Electro Wizard is just incredibly strong right now. But again, with the problem, we have the Fisherman. Yeah, and this makes for every single ranged mini a living nightmare. So again, it is strong, but just so risky to use, and that's why we have to put it into the B tier. Next one is the Lumberjack. The Lumberjack is decent in a lot of decks because, again, 3 elixir minis are strong. And, I mean, just the base stats of the mini is really good. The ability is nice as well, so you do not even have to upgrade him. So overall, just a really nice all-rounder. Next one is the Guard. The Guard kind of switched place with the Knight. The Guard had not really changes, but the Knight really got a huge buff. That's why they switched places as the king of the 2 elixir tank minis. Next one is the Bowler. The Bowler is pretty good as well. The Bowler is preventing some special tiles with his stone. Again, it's a 3 elixir mini. So you will see that later on as well. We have like pretty much all of the top mini are going to be 3 elixir, and that's why it's so good, because it's really synergizing well when you're building a deck. Let's move on. It's A tier time, baby. We are going in, we're closing in the last couple of minis. Starting things off is the Knight. As I said, a really solid 2-star elixir, or like 2 elixir tank. Especially strong versus the Monk, for example, with his 2nd-star upgrade. But overall, I think he's in a decent spot. Next one is the Wizard, the only anti-heal mini in the game. So that's why he's already in really high tier. As well, he's doing great splash, which is great against a lot of different minis. So I think he deserves for sure a nice A tier spot. Next one is the Valkyrie. I mean, the Valkyrie, even with the emergency nerf, it's still one of the strongest mini as well. If you're facing with a Valkyrie, a Witch, it's already an auto win. There is no argue about that. So overall, the Witch just really powerful, especially as a splash mini. If you place her in the front, it's really, really nice. This is already getting us to another 3 elixir mini, which is the mini P.E.K.K.A. The mini P.E.K.K.A. right now is just incredible. He is one of the biggest counter to a lot of heroes, to the Wave Master, to the Monk, to the Shield Maiden, to the Contest, to the King. All of those heroes are really struggling as soon as they're seeing the mini P.E.K.K.A. So mini P.E.K.K.A. right now is just incredible. Next one is the Ice Wizard. The Ice Wizard had actually an insane buff, and it's getting used in a lot of different decks, especially facing a Wave Master. You can see already where I'm going. A lot of those melee heroes have a lot of counters nowadays with those different abilities which got buffed, and the Ice Wizard is no difference. Really strong against some different heroes, and overall really good as well against the Valkyrie, for example, or the mini P.E.K.K.A., which are strong as well. Next mini is going to be the Golden Giant, our number 4 spot of the minis. is coming in for the new mini, which is the Golden Giant. The Golden Giant is just so powerful, especially versus the Wave Master, especially versus the Royal Champion. Because as soon as he is getting stunned, he is going to heal himself, which is just so strong. It is crazy how many minis can actually stun in this game. So he's just one of the best tanks in the game. And talking about tank minis, well, we have none other than the Giant Skeleton. That thing in the S tier is just powerful. That Golden Giant alone is preventing of the usage of the Barbarian, for example. It can prevent things like the Miner and so many more things. And it's just so strong. It's well a really good counter against the Fisher, which is our number 2 mini in the game. Fisher right now is just so strong. So many people are complaining about them. I'm going to do a video in 2 days on how to counter the Fisherman, because there's some easy tricks which you can use to actually make this mini way less stronger, like way less strong. But we're going to have none other than one king in the mini category, and that is the Dark Goblin. Oh my goodness, is that thing scary. If you can stack it up, the only hero which can hold against this thing is the Shield Maiden. Every other hero has to suffer from the Dark Goblin. If you have not a max hero in the game, no problem. Use the Dark Goblin, you have your own level 100 hero, because this thing is dealing so much damage. Have a good front line, make sure that it's not getting hooked by the Fisherman, and you're done. You are done. You can enjoy your free win. It is just so powerful. And that was my ranking. I hope you enjoyed the video ranking every single mini in the game in Season 2, and obviously every single hero as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know where I was wrong, where I was right with my tier list. And I will see you guys in 2 days for the next video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.